All right, guys, I know there's been a lot of talk mentioned lately about the chicken rig. I'll give you a little backstory on the chicken rig. When I first met Danny and was going with up there to North Georgia, the podcast and all the things, this was my wacky worm. I didn't even know it was called a chicken rig. Buddy here at Guntersville, I rigged it up on the boat one day. He goes, "Oh, you're throwing a chicken rig." I'm like, I didn't even know what he was talking about. I said, this is the way I've been doing a wacky worm, because fishing Toledo Bend, Rayburn, when the wacky came out, there's a lot of grass, there's a lot of stumps, stuff like that. You stayed hung up. I mean, it was so frustrating. So I said, let me figure out a way to rig a worm that I can fish through that stuff and not hang up. So what I did, I came up with a system, and I've since changed, obviously, with the newest technology. Here's our hook. This is a 2/0 VMC Finesse Nico. This is the one I prefer. You can throw a 1/0. It really doesn't matter. For these largemouth, especially up here at Guntersville, they get to jumping so bad. I want a little bit bigger hook if I can get away with it. So you take that, you take your finesse zoom trick worm. This is what I throw on it 90% of the time. I've already kind of, they always come with a little point on the head. I bite that off so I get a good flat surface. I take my nail weight and I start pushing it in that worm. Okay, you want to push it in there, most all the way in there. Get it all the way up. I'll leave just a little bit sticking out the top so that I can easily grab it if I need to replace the worm. Okay, so what we do is we get about this far from the end. Take your hook. Now a trick worm's got a flat side, it's got a rib side. I always go through the rib side, go all the way through the worm. Okay. Now, when you run it up on the hook, you want to make sure you're running it up perpendicular. It's got these two little keepers. If you run it up in parallel with that, it'll tear the worm and the worm wants to fall down. So what we do is we run it up perpendicular, and then I turn to where it looks like that. Okay, I can see that. Then I go through the flat side. I go all the way through the worm where the hook is exposed. And I just pinch it up a little bit and then skin hook it. And guys, that's what it looks like. Okay, you can fish this thing through just about anything. It rarely ever hangs up. If it does anything, you might get something caught up here on the eye of the hook. But that's what the chicken rig looks like. Like I said, it's been my wacky worm for a long time. And a lot of times you'll just hop it up and that tail will just kind of flutter down. You'll hop it up and it'll flutter down. Really important, make sure that your nail weight is in the head of the worm and your hook and the bend of your hook is pointed towards the nail weight. That way when you set the hook, you don't have to flip the hook all the way around. But give this a try, guys. Hopefully y'all can see that pretty well. This is a bite getter. Like I said, it works everywhere. I fish from Texas to Georgia, back to Alabama, Mississippi, all things, Louisiana. It just catches them. So if you need a bite, try the chicken rig. See y'all.